Always a pleasure to be here with Coach Javier Mendez, who's a busy, busy man.
Yeah,
always.
busy.
From one fight to another. Obviously, we just came off of Usman Nurmagomedov's successful title defense or title win against Paul Hughes, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and let's call it a new title because he fought for the PFL title. So he had the Strikeforce, a Bellator, sorry, had the Bellator title. So now he's the PFL title. So now he's a two-organization lightweight world champion. And that's reality. That's truth.
True. Great fight. A lot of interesting reactions from people, I have to say, though, because I thought this win was a little more definitive than the last one. I don't know how you feel, but I've seen a lot of people. I get the 50-45 outrage, but some people scored it for Paul Hughes. Were you surprised with the overall reaction from people?
Regarding scoring it for Paul Hughes, it's ridiculous. Even he knew he didn't win that fight. He didn't contest it. Nobody contested it. Fans probably contested it, and I don't blame them because Paul's a great guy. He's a great fighter. But it was clear cut that at the very, very least, he won 3. I gave it 4-1 myself. So I definitely didn't give it 50 to 45, but I definitely gave it 49-46. And of course, I favor my guy, obviously. But so at the very least, it was 3-2.
Yeah, because I see a lot of people commenting on like, the fight's taking place in Dubai, kind of like second home, if you want to call that, for Usman. And but I think people are reaching a little bit with that. I understand. Which round did you score for Paul, by the way?
The third.
The third. Okay. Look, it was a great fight. It was very competitive in certain aspects, but I thought Usman this time around made it a lot clearer. What did you like and not like from Usman's performance? Did it go pretty much how you expected it to?
I loved everything he did because I knew how tough Paul was going to come. I knew Paul was going to be tougher than the first time, and I knew Habib and I knew that we needed to get Usman mentally prepared for the toughest fight he's ever had. And we got the job done. We got it done. I had a lot of mental training with him, and I did a lot of mental training with Usman on what to do, how to feel, how to think about the fight, etc. And it worked. It was picture perfect because I'm doing a book called the Mindset, right? And it's called In Your Corner, and it's coming out, and I used a lot of the tactics that I explained in the book there, and it worked perfection. So for me, it was like a 1-2. The book finished as far as the interviews, and the proof was in the pudding in what Usman did. It was unbelievable.
How did you guys? How were you able to keep Usman calm on those fouls that happened, and the low blows, and Paul Hughes taking extensive time out, which he has the right to? You get 5 minutes, but was that tough to stay focused? What was the message in the corner there?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm so biased that I was like, wait, no, he didn't kick him there. But then when you look at it, he kicked him there. So it was one of those things that we just stayed focused. We've been through it before. It's like, what are we gonna do? We let the ref do his job. Habib will do his job. I'll do my job. Usually I'm quiet. Habib's usually vocal, and but it worked out. I didn't, I didn't know what to think of it. I just knew he's either hurt or he's faking it. But I'm thinking, no, this guy's a warrior. I don't see him faking it. And sure enough, he wasn't.
Yeah. And Usman, after the fight, called out Alfie Davis. Seems like the logical next fight. All systems go. Do you see any other possibilities for him next? I mean, Alfie did win the tournament, so...
I think the logical choice is him. I think he's the one, and he's the one who called him out. So he called him out, so I don't think the PFL should give him anybody else but him.
You think you guys are done with the Paul Hughes chapter, or do you feel like maybe down the line you could see him again? I know it's 2-0.
I think because they're both young, I think we could definitely see him down the line. He's such a great competitor and a great human being that I can see Paul rebounding and bringing enough, wins in his corner that they would warrant a third meeting. I could see that happening for sure. I just don't see it happening with the next 2 fights or so, but I could see it happening with Paul for sure.
And rivalries are great, right? I mean, we've seen, obviously, Habib with Conor, Alexander Volkanovski, and Islam, maybe not so much the beef, but just like fighting twice. Umar and Merab are kind of going at it. This is good for Usman's career, right? To have such a high-profile fight.
Yes, you need a high-profile fight, and Paul Hughes brings it, and he's a gentleman. as a fighter. I really have a high respect for him and his coaches, the way they're handling it. And, I think that the way it's being done is done great because the coaches stay out of it, let the fighters do their talking, and they talk about each other. They're not talking about their families. They're not talking about their religion. They're not talking about their country. So all respect goes to Paul Hughes and his coaches for keeping it very much about the fighters, not us. It's not about me. It's about Usman and it's about Paul, and that's what that fight was about. And I loved that idea that they kept it like that. That's what I feel all fighters should do.
And one more on Usman before we move on. Right back into training camp. Is there a little bit of a break, or is
He impressed the hell out of me so much after his fight. The last person I expected to be in training camp, at least being there with the guys, was Usman. That's the person I saw 4 days in a row, and he was there. And I'm like, I go, wow. I had to acknowledge that I'm very impressed because in all the history of me coaching and having champions, rarely ever have I seen a champion come in the next time, the next time, the next time, 4 days in a row, come to training. And that's what he did. That just tells me he's hungry, he's motivated, and he's going to prove me correct. I know a lot of people bash me for it, but I said before the fight that I believe because Islam is no longer involved in the lightweight division, I felt that Usman was the number one in the world. And I'm still holding to what I said. I don't care what division, organization. I believe he's number one. I really believe that. And you know what? We'll fight anybody. And we haven't bitched or complained about who he's going to fight. He's asking for the top guys. So we're going to keep bringing it. And for those of you that blasted me, thank you. It still motivates us.
Yeah, and next week we've got Umar up next. We spoke in July and we were talking about what could possibly be next for Umar. He draws Mario Batista, kind of like a quiet, dangerous contender, right? He's on this quiet winning streak, but constantly underestimated, I feel, by people. I'm assuming that's not the case with you guys. What have you made of Mario Batista's run?
Well, look who he's beaten. I mean, Patsy made a mistake by underestimating him. Look what that happened. Jose Aldo probably did the same thing. Look what happened there. We're not making that mistake. We know how tough he is. We know what he brings to the table. And we needed the best version of Umar we can get. And as of yesterday in the last sparring, I got the best version of Umar. So I'm extremely confident in him and his abilities and his comeback. So let's see what the UFC decides to do. But, I'm expecting a very, very big win from him this, next week on the 25th.
When you say that, is that based off of you seeing his skills, or do you feel like there's a little bit of pressure on Umar? Because I guess it's a little unfair for most of the guys you train, that aura of invincibility where everyone expects absolute perfection. And if there's a fight that's slightly competitive, there's the criticism, or if there's a loss, it's a different regard that guys hold Khabib and his team. But do you feel like there's any pressure on him at all to go out there and have a definitive performance, or do you feel like a win is enough?
No, there's extreme pressure on him. He's had a lot of pressure on this one, and because you got to understand, he carries the last name.
Right.
There's a big honor in that. And Usman, his brother's undefeated. Khabib's undefeated. He was undefeated. There's a lot of pressure. He was doing what Khabib was doing at an earlier stage, so there was a lot of comparisons. So, I called him Young Eagle. So come on, you got to be realistic. There's a lot of pressure on him, and now he has to rebound from the loss and come back stronger. And it was not an easy journey. It was not. It was a physical and a mental journey for him. But he's such a fighter, such a fierce competitor, and he wants it. So he showed it to us yesterday in his sparring. And yes, I base everything on their sparring. I don't base it on what they think. No, I base it on how I see, what I feel when I see. And I've seen some great sparring for him yesterday that it was unbelievable for me.
How did he react to the loss? It's obviously an unfamiliar feeling for him, an unfamiliar feeling for the team in general, but what was he like after the loss to Merab? Because very close, competitive fight, and until now we've seen, obviously, he's given Merab his toughest test today, at least from a championship standpoint.
Yeah, from a championship standpoint, he's given Merab his toughest test, but we still, in the judges' eyes, we didn't get the nod. So it's super tough, for him, and what he just needs to do is just focus on winning and winning, with a great big, exclamation point, like, boom, there I am. I'm the next guy. So after Peter Yan and Merab go and whoever the victor is, and I'm not pulling for any one guy or another, because it's not We're not after anybody but the title. So whoever wins, that's the best. So that's who we want. So I'm not looking for Merab to win. I'm not looking for Peter to win. Whoever wins is the guy that we want, because we want that title opportunity again. But we have to earn it. We have to earn it. And against Mario, we're gonna have to earn it. And if it's not against Mario, then we have to go next again.
But looking at the landscape at 35 and the fact that Merab is going through rematches right now, I think it's fair to say you guys expect with a win over Mario that you're next in line. Granted, Merab seems to be quite dismissive of Umar. I don't know what it is specifically, but he seems to, talk about how, he hasn't earned it and whatnot. But when you look at the landscape at 35, who else would there be?
Well, when you look at who's given them the toughest competition, it is definitely Umar. What the beef is, why he hasn't deserved it, that's good, because it just builds, because at the end of the day, the UFC decides who's going to fight who. So we can say, we deserve it. The UFC says, nope, this guy gets it. So we've been there before. So whatever the UFC is going to offer, they're either going to offer you a lot of money for this fight, or they're going to offer you just fair enough amount, and you decide to take it or not take it. You don't take it, then they do something else, or maybe they'll fight for the interim title like they've been known to do, which I hate. I hate interim titles, because to me they're not real, you know. So to me it's just the number one spot. So that's what a promotion has to do to create buzz. So my hope is that whoever wins this fight, and if we can have a great win, not just a win, it has to be a great win. We have a great win, that maybe we get the opportunity.
Yeah, I think Merab, obviously no one can accuse of Merab ducking anybody, but I remember speaking to Merab last October before he was booked against Umar in January, and he made it seem like I'm not fighting Umar, and then the fight ends up happening. I think it's good fight building. It's like what I went back to before about the rivalries and stuff like that. Like, this is just, it seems like that's the chapter in Umar's career right now, is this rivalry with Merab, and Merab's the champion, so it's a great story.
It's a great story, and it's Merab versus Umar. It's really good for Umar, and it's good for Merab. But again, I can't be short-sighted and think, exclude Peter, because Jan wins the fight. Well, there goes the Merab Umar theory, because if we're successful, extremely successful, like I want to be, and I'm hoping to be, we get an opportunity to fight the champion. I don't want to fight Merab. He's not important. The title's important.
Right. And speaking of that, how do you see the rematch between Merab and Jan going?
I see it. Merab's impressed me so much. He's improved so much, and his cardio is like, I don't know what level you want to call his cardio, but I've never seen anybody's cardio at this level. The guy seems to get even stronger as the rounds increase, so it's hard to keep up with that cardio. And now he's under good coaching. I see his striking has improved immensely. So now it's not only you have to worry about his cardio, but now you really have to worry about his overall game. And he's a showman too. He knows how to win. So there's a lot you have to worry about him. It's not like before. So he's a much better version of the Merab we fought. Yeah,
obviously showed off his striking against Corey Sandhagen. But what do you feel is the biggest mistake Umar made against Merab? Was it a pacing thing? Because obviously he had success early, and Merab rallied to win that fight. Is it a matter of the pacing, the cardio, or tactical mistakes, in your opinion?
For me, tactical, because he broke his hand in the first round. He didn't tell Habib Arai. Had he told us, then we would have switched the plans, because we'd have to, and we didn't know. He didn't say a word. That just shows you how much he wanted it. That just shows what kind of warrior he is, to not to say a word to us, and we didn't even detect it. That's pretty impressive. And so at the end of the day, when you look at the physical part of what happens when someone breaks their hand and they're using a broken hand, it takes more energy out of you, believe it or not. It's scientific. It's proven. So him breaking his hand caused his cardio to go quicker, and Merab's pressure and Merab's great cardio caused that. So it was a combination of broken hand, Merab putting incredible pressure, and us not being able to adapt because we didn't know his hand was broken.
Right. And not to overlook Mario, obviously. Where do you feel like Mario is most dangerous? What's the biggest threat, and how would you assess his grappling?
I would say Mario's biggest threat on us is going to be his striking and his constant pressure. Mm-hmm. He's constantly pressuring, and he's good at striking. He's good everywhere, so he's got a good team behind him too. So and he's on a win streak. I don't think he's won 7, 8 fights in a row.
Yeah.
So he's on a great win streak. So he's very confident, and I'm expecting a great fight between him and Umar. And my belief is that we're going to be too much for him on the abilities. But time will tell, right? Because Mario has other plans.
Yeah, and let's move on to Islam Makhachev, who fights shortly after Umar. Islam, when I spoke to you, you said we're mentally there. Now it's time to get physically there. That was obviously back in July. He's looked like he's bulked up quite nicely into the welterweight frame. How's that been?
Unbelievable. When I came into camp, because I've been here in Dubai all this time, and I saw him for the first time over a month ago, and I'm looking at him like, what the heck? I go, wow, he was solid. So I was very impressed with that, number one. I said, how do you feel? He goes, great, coach. And I watched him train. I watched what he was doing, and I was so impressed. And then he did his first sparring, and I was blown away. I was blown away how good he got, how well he adjusted to the weight. I was blown away. So I'm very confident in him, and regardless what anybody says, he's still number one pound for pound in my eyes. So that's my guy, pound for pound number one, Islam Makhachev. And the new version of him is coming, on November 15th at Madison Square Garden, and he will be the new welterweight UFC champion.
Safe to say he's done with lightweight. No more.
I don't know if he's done with lightweight, but to be honest with you, why struggle to make all that weight when he's solid. He's solid. So he put on a good 10 pounds, since we last spoke, and I mean, yeah, he can make 155 again if he wanted to, but it's really going to be in his ball court. But let's face it, Jack is such a tough customer that if we overlook him, which we haven't, I've actually viewed Jack's fight with Bilal 5 times, guys, 5 times, and I've never really done that 5 times. That's how much I respect Jack. I rewatched him. I said, man, we got our hands full with him. He's a tough customer, but I believe 1,000,000% Islam's going to pull it off. One way or another, I don't know if it's going to be on the ground. I don't know if he's going to stand up. I just know we can do it all.
And some comments from Jack in his camp about Islam striking, how he's more hittable than Bilal, and how he might be easier to deal with on the feet because of the lack of stand switches and whatnot. Fight talk, or what do you make of those comments?
I don't know what to make of those comments, but I've seen coaches make comments that end up biting in the butt. So I'm just saying, be careful what you wish for, because you might get the boogeyman. So to say Islam is hittable is, I've yet to see it. I've yet to see it in any of his fights. I've seen him get hit. Every fighter gets hit. Habib gets hit. Heck, Edson Barboza hit Habib on the dome with a beautiful shin kick. I mean, Justin Gaethje hit him with beautiful shots. Michael Johnson hit him with beautiful shots. So every fighter gets hit. It's what you do after you get hit, or how much you get hit. So I'm not going to say Islam doesn't get hit, because every fighter gets hit.
Right.
So I can say he's great at welterweight right now. He's fantastic. That I can say.
And Volkanovski has jumped into Jack Della Maddalena's camp, Craig Jones. They're trying to kind of replicate, what they feel like they have the formula and whatnot. Do you feel like Jack is capable of giving Islam a similar type of fight that Volkanovski did the first time around? I know there were certain things with the weight cut and replenishing and all that stuff that wasn't ideal fighting in Australia versus other locations for Islam. But do you see Jack Della giving Islam that type of test? I know he went 5 rounds with Bilal, but the pace was a little different because Bilal, I guess, didn't wrestle as much as he should have earlier.
Yeah.
So do you think Jack is capable of giving Islam that type of drag out fight?
Yes, he's definitely capable, because if we didn't feel that, then we wouldn't respect him as the way we do in the camp. We respect Alex. We respect all these guys big time. So we come in with immense respect. We definitely are not looking for an easy fight whatsoever. And if the fight looks easy and comes out easy on either side, it wasn't because the other person was easy. It just, you got the shot in, or you got the submission in, and it was just one of those breaks, But we're ready, and come November 15th, I will say the new welterweight UFC champion, Islam Makhachev.
We'll wrap up with this. Jack Della is known for his boxing, but how would you break down his striking exactly? Where do you feel like is it his pace? Is it the pop in his punches? What do you feel like Jack brings?
Jack flows extremely well. He'll go the body to the head to the kick. His boxing is fluid. He'll go southpaw to orthodox, back to southpaw, back to orthodox, and in between doing that, kicking and punching. He does unbelievable with that. He's one of the best I've seen in the UFC that does that. So that's something to contend with because it's distance, it's gauging, it's understanding. The guy's switching on you all the time, but he's punching and kicking you. He's very, very dangerous there. So I don't look at him as the boxer. I look at him as the overall great striker. We got to deal with the great striker. But the underestimation part might be on their part, not mine. I don't underestimate Jack whatsoever. His ground is also good. But, I just feel I have pound for pound the #1 fighter in the world, guys, #1. So that being the case, bring it.
That's a perfect way to wrap up. Coach, I really appreciate your time. I've taken a lot of it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Busy man, but best of luck in the
Yeah,
upcoming
we're
weeks.
here. Mama Bella's in Dubai at Kapinski Boulevard. You guys, Kapinski Boulevard in Dubai. Mama Bella's, come visit.